Imagine discovering that a wild bird has quietly been using you for years, not as a friend, not as a threat, but as a tool. It sounds impossible. After all, humans are supposed to be the intelligent species shaping the world around us. Yet in neighborhoods, parks, parking lots, and backyards across America, crows may be manipulating human behavior in ways most people never notice. They watch us, learn from us, predict our actions, and sometimes even use our routines to solve problems they could never solve alone. The strange part is that they often do it without us realizing it. Crows belong to a group of birds called corvids, a family famous for extraordinary intelligence. Scientists have repeatedly found that crow intelligence rivals that of some primates in certain tasks. They can recognize faces, remember individual humans for years, solve puzzles, and even use tools. But perhaps their most fascinating talent is their ability to turn other living creatures into tools as well, including us. Picture a busy city intersection. A crow sits on a telephone wire, holding a hard walnut in its beak. The shell is too tough to crack. The bird could spend hours pecking at it with little success. Instead, the crow waits. When the traffic light turns red and cars begin stopping beneath it, the bird drops the walnut onto the road. Tires roll over it, crushing the shell. Then the crow waits again. When the light changes and traffic clears, it calmly flies down and collects the exposed nut meat. At first glance, it seems like the crow is simply taking advantage of traffic, but look closer. The bird is not using the car itself as the tool. It is using the entire human transportation system. Roads, traffic lights, vehicles, and predictable human behavior become parts of a giant machine that the crow has learned to operate. The crow never built that machine. Humans did. Yet the bird found a way to use it. Researchers observing urban crows have documented behaviors like this in multiple locations. Some crows even appear to understand traffic patterns well enough to retrieve food during safer moments. They are not merely reacting randomly. They are making calculated decisions based on predictable human actions. That alone is remarkable, but it gets stranger. Many people think wild animals either fear humans or ignore them. Crows do neither. They often study us with astonishing attention. Experiments have shown that crows can recognize individual human faces. In some studies, researchers wearing specific masks captured and released crows. Years later, birds still reacted negatively to those same faces. Even young crows that had never witnessed the original event learned to distrust those individuals. Think about what that means. A crow can build a mental database of humans. Some are dangerous, some are harmless, some are useful. And usefulness opens an entirely different world of possibilities. In neighborhoods across North America, people unknowingly train crows every day. A homeowner fills a bird feeder each morning at roughly the same time. Before long, local crows learn the schedule. They begin arriving shortly before breakfast appears. The human believes they are feeding birds. From the crow's perspective, they may have successfully trained a human food dispenser. It sounds humorous, but it reveals something important. Crows excel at identifying patterns. Once they learn that a specific person performs a specific action reliably, they incorporate that behavior into their own survival strategy. In other words, humans become predictable tools within the crow's environment. Sometimes crows take this even further. There are numerous reports of crows placing nuts, shells, or other hard food items in locations where humans are likely to drive, walk, or interact with them. The birds seem to understand that human activity creates opportunities. A crow does not need to know how an automobile engine works. It only needs to know what automobiles do. That distinction is crucial. True intelligence often isn't about understanding every detail of a system. It's about understanding enough to use the system effectively, and crows are masters of that skill. One of the most fascinating examples comes from observations of crows following human routines. In some areas, crows have learned garbage collection schedules with incredible accuracy. They know which days trash appears and when collection trucks arrive. For a crow, garbage day is not random. It is a planned feeding event. The birds position themselves to take advantage of food scraps exposed by human activity. Entire daily schedules can revolve around predicting our movements. Imagine having a neighbor who memorizes exactly when you leave for work, when you return home, when your garbage goes outside, and when your lawn gets watered. That neighbor might sound obsessive. For a crow, it is simply intelligent resource management. Their ability to monitor human behavior extends beyond food. Some crows appear to use humans as protection from predators. Large birds of prey often avoid areas with heavy human presence. Crows have learned this. In certain situations, they intentionally remain close to people because the nearby humans create a safer environment. The humans believe they are taking a walk through the park. The crow sees a moving shield. Without ever speaking a word, the bird has turned a person into a security system. Scientists studying animal cognition often discuss something called social learning. This is the ability to learn by watching others. Humans do it constantly. Children learn by observing adults. Crows do something surprisingly similar. They watch each other, and they watch us. When one crow discovers a useful human behavior, other crows may learn it too. Knowledge spreads through crow communities. A successful strategy can move from bird to bird, creating local traditions. Some crow populations develop behaviors rarely seen elsewhere. It's almost as if different groups create their own cultural knowledge. The implications are astonishing. When a crow uses a human as a tool, it may not be acting solely on instinct. It could be applying knowledge passed through generations of observation and experience. For an animal that many people dismiss as just another black bird in the yard, that level of sophistication is extraordinary. If you're enjoying uncovering these hidden secrets of bird intelligence, be sure to subscribe to Backyard Bird Mysteries for more fascinating journeys into the lives of the birds all around us. Perhaps the most surprising part of all is how often crows appear to evaluate humans individually. People who regularly provide food sometimes report receiving gifts from crows. Shiny objects, bottle caps, beads, pieces of metal, and other small items occasionally appear in places where friendly humans can find them. Scientists still debate exactly why this happens. Is it gratitude? Social bonding? Simple curiosity? We do not know for certain, but the behavior suggests something deeper than a basic animal-human interaction. The crow has identified a particular person as important, valuable, worth engaging with, and that relationship can influence future behavior. In a sense, the crow is managing resources, and humans are among those resources. The more researchers learn about crows, the more difficult it becomes to draw a sharp line between human problem-solving and animal problem-solving. Crows can plan ahead. They can remember past events. They can adapt to changing circumstances. Most importantly, they can recognize opportunities hidden inside complex environments. Human civilization may be one of the greatest opportunities they have ever encountered. Cities provide food, shelter, warmth, protection, and countless tools. Traffic cracks nuts. Streetlights illuminate feeding areas. Garbage trucks expose meals. Humans accidentally scare away predators. To a crow, our world is filled with mechanisms waiting to be used. And unlike many animals, crows seem capable of understanding enough about those mechanisms to benefit from them consistently. The next time you notice a crow watching from a rooftop, fence post, or tree branch, consider the possibility that the bird is not merely looking around. It may be studying, learning, calculating. Perhaps it already knows your daily routine. Perhaps it has figured out when you leave food outside or when your dog goes indoors. Perhaps it understands patterns in your life that you have never even noticed yourself. The mystery is not whether crows are intelligent. Science has already answered that. The real mystery is how much they truly understand about us. For centuries, humans believed we were the only creatures capable of reshaping the world to suit our needs. Yet crows found another approach. Instead of building the systems themselves, they learned to use the systems we built, without our permission, without our awareness, and often with remarkable success. So the next time a crow seems to be staring directly at you, remember that you may not be the observer in that moment. You may be the one being observed, analyzed, and quietly incorporated into a plan that only the crow understands. And what scientists are now discovering about the secret conversations happening inside crow communities may be even more astonishing.